It's Melody Manager day 7-ish, but you don't know if it's what day it is and you don't care. I'm here to talk about email today. I'm doing it from my car because I don't want to end up like every other day doing this at 9 p.m. at night when I don't have a brain. So I wanted to talk about something that I think is one of the most delegatable things that you can hand off really quickly, and you can do it with trust. I also want to say that I created this system well before AI. With AI, it is nearly impossible to not delegate your with the right email like training for your virtual assistant, but also to not be able to delegate email at this point. There's no reason not to. So first, let me say what Melody Manager is. This is my video every day for the month of January where I talk about the new brand, the Melody Manager, which is not a new brand because I created it 3 years ago. I just didn't put it out into the world until last week or two. And it is a just like Home Service VA, my other company, we match visionary, purpose-driven leaders, founders, um, entrepreneurs who are women. That's my target, is helping women with really well-trained, experienced executive assistants. And I call it the Melody Manager because I tell my team, I don't need more things or more people to manage. I need somebody to help manage me and my things. So I need a Melody Manager. It's very relatable to most people. Um, and some reason I just felt like it's a fun name to say, and that's the name of the business now. So email. I used to spend a ton of time in my inbox. Right now, I am actually supposed to spend more time in my inbox, and I keep forgetting because I've been out of it for so long. I knew that in order for me to really let go of like for me, and email is not something that I am just looking at a very specific time of the day. If an email pops up on my phone, I was addicted. I'd immediately go in, I'd see what had come up, and then I'd want to respond, taking my attention away from whatever I had been doing already. We have enough things in our life that we don't need another distraction, and email on our phone is definitely a huge distraction. Email in general is a huge distraction because most of the emails we get are not important. They're not urgent. They're things that we will also put off because we don't know the exact answer. So I've developed a lot of strategies and a system around this. The first thing that you have to think about is if you've been in business for any length of time, you have pretty much written all the emails already. They might not have the same content in them, but many, many times we are writing the same types of emails. Somebody wants to make an appointment with you. Somebody wants to change an appointment. Somebody has a question or a request for you. And we are reinventing the wheel every time. Now, when I got really good before AI, I used to have templates that I put into place, and I created the templates. But what I realized over time is if I wanted to delegate it to somebody else, and in the beginning it was somebody in an office when I had my office, and then later it was a virtual assistant. But I needed to be able to teach them how. And in the beginning, I just taught them how by saying, "This is how you send an email." Or this is the template you use to send this email. But it didn't really teach them because they still needed to ask me questions about like what like they because I wasn't giving them complete ownership, they weren't over able to take ownership, and I still had to be very involved. And at that point I was like, why not just do it myself? It's taking me as much time, which is a thing that many women and men struggle with. Is we know it won't take as much time for us, and it will take a lot less energy, it feels like, but the goal is to let it go. When I'm at my best, I'm not thinking about email, I'm not thinking about appointments, I'm very focused in the work that I'm doing. It is very hard to get me there, so anything that I can remove as a distraction is very helpful. So what you want to do is you want to give an assistant access to your inbox. Do not create templates for them because that's not, again, giving them ownership over the information. They just become a doer, a copy paster, and we are not looking for doers. We are looking for thought partners, collaborators, people who are going to be like helping you to think, better, or helping you to remember things, and being an active participant in the work. So you're going to let them go through, and they are going to create their own templates based on what you have written. Side note, I never tell virtual assistants to write my name like they are pretending to be me. I did do that in the beginning. I found that it became very confusing if I saw somebody ever in real life and they said, "Oh, well, when you wrote me the other day, you said this." Okay, that happened one time. And it was enough stress for me to realize that was a bad idea. And after that, I always just had them sign their name as my assistant. But the great thing about having somebody do your email and be your assistant is they become your communication buffer. If you're somebody who says yes a lot, they become the space that gives you time to think and say no and become more thoughtful. So you learn how to say no if you're thoughtful about it by having somebody else answering your email. You aren't immediately, like what I do is I immediately want to solve a problem. I immediately want to put my focus, um, and I did this last week. I set an appointment because I was thinking over optimistically about time. I have no concept of time most of the time, but I set an appointment because I wanted to meet with the person, and then I had to cancel it because I realized I had completely overwhelmed my schedule, and that was bad. So I'm always learning these lessons, even though I'm like following the systems. It takes a lot of time to, and maybe I'll never just naturally remember that I don't want to say yes all the time. But again, that having that buffer for communication, very important. But anyway, they're going to create the templates for you and they're going to give them to you, and you're not going to touch them. You're going to read them. You're going to make a video response, a Loom video, I usually say, and you're just going to tell them, these are really great. Here's what I need you to change, and here's why. You need to give them the context. You need to tell them what the change is, but also why. Why are you changing that? Is it because you don't usually schedule things on Thursdays at 9 a.m. or whatever? They need to learn how you think, and these little video snippets are going to teach them. And you're going to go back and forth with them until they have a really good template series for you. And every time that they see an FAQ, they are going to create an FAQ template. Like anytime they answer a question, they'll create an FAQ template. Sorry, that was confusing, but I'm going off of my brain. Anytime that they see that you solved a problem in an email, that becomes a troubleshooting template. They are creating a library of kind of actions for you based on your past actions. And these are also things that we can use to train AI on how you would probably respond based on past responses. We do a lot of AI training with our virtual, assistants. So this is something that we would use, but I'm trying to pretend AI doesn't exist here. So once you get those templates, or you feel like those templates are in great shape, they now own the information. They had to read, they had to think, they had to look at your video, they had to write. They're doing all of the parts of learning and remembering so that they are going to be able to take over this role and feel confident in it. And now you are going to feel confident that they can send an email with your kind of language, the way that you would want to present yourself. However, they're going to draft. They're not going to send, because even though you've already built trust with them, we don't. We want to make sure that you build 100% trust. It doesn't take a long time. So the next step is you're going to let them draft your emails, and you are going to have to give them input in the form of a video. Don't make the changes yourself, even though it feels like faster. Yes, it would be faster, but you just have to talk it out. Communicate how you naturally would communicate. And a lot of my systems are created for people who are good at talking things out, even if it takes time, because I don't want them to get caught in a thought loop. If you're not like that, if you write more than you talk, you can even write them. But you want to use your natural way of communicating that's going to be have the least friction, because that's how you want to be. You want to make sure that they understand you. And this is like all part of the system, if that makes sense. Um, and so they're going to get to a point where about 80 to 90% of the time, they're going to be drafting your emails pretty well. You trust them because the other 10 or 20% of the time, they're asking the right questions. They're giving you the right answer that you want. Like they might say, hey, Mel, that you have to answer this email, I think, but they'll bring it to you. What I want to do, because I'm an all or nothing person, I want them to literally bring me my email into Slack, if you have Slack, and say, how do you want me to respond to this? So that I stay out of my inbox. The goal for me is not even inbox zero, even though it is. If I go in my inbox, I want to see nothing there. The goal for me is to not go in my inbox unless I am procrastinating on purpose or something. And when you can do that, you have now created a situation where you will release your email to somebody else and you will trust them 100% because you saw them learn it and you've seen them do it. So that's my really simple system for letting go of email. Nowadays, you could throw a bunch, I mean, it's a little more complicated than this, but you can throw email samples into AI, ask it what your tone, your style, all that kind of stuff is. It'll give you a rundown of how what that means, but it won't tell you, it won't be able to exactly do what your VA just did. And we don't want your VA to just be relying on AI for anything when it comes to you. We want people to be using AI ethically, but we want them to start by learning on their own because I want them to be thinking partners again. I don't want them to just be doers. I hope this was helpful. If you know somebody who's interested in talking to us about getting an executive assistant, because that's where my passion is, I want to help women get executive support so that they can accelerate their impact in this world, so that they can fly forward because I see a lot of world right now that needs more women in positions of power, in business arenas. I need more female energy in this world. And if we can provide that back end support, then that's fulfilling my passion and my purpose in this world. Okay, I think every video I ever make is about 12 minutes long. I always say 10 minutes. So this is definitely melody time. That's what I call it. If I say 10 minutes, apparently it's about 12 to 13 minutes long. I hope you have a great day. If you have a question that you'd like me to answer about executive support, virtual assistants, anything that you think I might be able to answer that um, I would be happy to talk to you about it or to hopefully make a video about it. Because doing a live every day, I have to think about what I'm going to talk about, and I'd rather answer people's questions. That's easier for me. I hope you have a great night. I am going to probably go to the co-working space and get a little bit more work done, some thought work. Take care.